And we are back with yet another Shacknews 2022 Game of the Year deliberation. And it's appropriate that there's so many of us here to deliberate because this is best multiplayer game. And the award goes to the Shacknews Game of the Year 2022 deliberations. No, it's going to go to a video game. A video game that allowed multiple people to play the game together all at once. Were they playing on the same team? Were they playing as enemies? There's only one way to find out, and that's to get down to the nitty gritty and get some nominations in there. What do y'all say? Let's get it done. All right, where shall we start? Who?
I'm going to go ahead right from the gate and say that I can't think of an event in a multiplayer game that makes me more happy and seems to make everybody more happy than when Splatoon is in full gear doing Splatfests. It is the reason to jump on that game no matter how much or how little you've been playing and make your voice heard and battle for the dominance of your side. I love Splatfests. I love Splatoon 3 and I'm happy that these are back.
Yeah, I had not played any of the previous Splatoons, and I love Splatoon 3. It is fantastic. Super fun. As far as like competitive multiplayer games go, I love that you can just hop in and a match is over in the 3 minutes, one way or another. Like they don't drag out forever. The different weapons you can use are super fun. The strategies you can employ if you have like a decent team, especially if you have like if it's four friends playing together, it really takes it to another level as far as team strategy goes. But even if you don't know the people you're playing with, it's still just super fun. And they've added PvE as well this time around, another layer of deliciousness, right? As well as a story mode. So the story mode isn't multiplayer, but everything else is quite multiplayer.
They've had Salmon Run in the past, at least Splatoon 2, but they improved upon it, and it's even better than ever. I think that's a good angle to this too. Is that Splatoon? You don't have to be just PvP in Splatoon 3. If playing against other players gives you anxiety, you can just play PvE and Salmon Run and join up with your buddies. And basically, what is probably the most kid friendly sort of Gears of War Horde mode that's out there.
Yeah,
there you go.
Speaking from like personal experience, I can be a bit snobby when it comes to multiplayer games, and I did not anticipate going into Splatoon 3 loving it as much as I do. Playing it in big team building, playing it after I finish work, playing it on the weekend, I cannot get enough of this multiplayer. It is intense. The battles are short and sweet. You're in, you're out. The competitive nature of it just really speaks to me. I love the variety of weapons. I love that I'm deciding not only which weapon I want, but which specials and supers to go along with it, and making my decisions there based on like what my team composition is going to be. And then it's not just based on kills like in a deathmatch. It's about covering the most turf with paint. And so that little tweak there, it's like you might be really good at getting frags in a game, but you also have to strategize, and like that's not going to win it alone. You have to have a all-encompassing sort of holistic view of what you're doing in this match.
I love everything about that game. Like I said, TJ, and it's not violent. It's great for kids. I just wish Nintendo knew how to online. Like, I've had a lot of issues in that game with, like, Blake had issues connecting, reconnecting, unconnecting, reconnecting, getting kicked out of the lobby. If Nintendo could just seal that down, it would be fantastic. They have so many issues with that game. Like,
I mean,
I think a lot of those have been fixed, honestly.
Yeah, like it did have a couple of issues at launch, but speaking to someone who, like, I'm in Australia and I play with all of yous who are in North America, and my connection is fine. You know, as with any multiplayer game, you might drop the lobby after every like 10 or so matches, or something might happen and be like, oh, I got to quickly reboot. But that's sort of par the course with playing games online. And, there's improvements to be made overall, but otherwise it is a excellent experience, even from someone who is half a world away.
Sam, you said what I basically was going to say. Yeah, I probably can't name a multiplayer game where I'm like, hey, you know what? I'm going to play this for 10 matches, 20 matches, whatever it happens to be. And like, there isn't some kind of hiccup in there somewhere. So it's pretty common. I've been testing out Splatoon 3's multiplayer off and on. And for me, I really enjoy jumping into the matches and getting in and out in 3 minutes, right? Like I can do that between a deliberation. I can do that between like just before we fire up a meeting or whatever it happens to be. Like it fits in the little spaces that are in your day. And there isn't really another multiplayer game in my life where I can be like, hey, I have 10 minutes. And I want to get that sort of like that shooter feel. And I can't get that shooter feel. Like, you think about that with pretty much any other multiplayer shooter, and you're like, well, I don't have an hour, so I can't really do that. And that's really not a problem with Splatoon.
And what sort of blew my mind as well, like I went into some Splatoon 3 streams to just see like how I could improve. And as soon as I booted up Splatoon 3, I switched off the motion controls because I'm not used to that. And I'm like, if I'm not using a keyboard and mouse, I'm using a controller, and I'm not used to motion controls. And so I was like, asking these streamers, like, what do you play? Like, what sensitivity do you use on your sticks or whatnot? They're like, I use motion controls. Like, that blew my mind that these people are able to nail these incredible sniper shots using the motion controls. I'm like, I got to figure something out because
they might be surgeons or something, steady hands.
Maybe.
Who knows? Man, yeah. Does anyone else have any other nominations for this category?
Yes.
Greg?
Let me cover up my bias back here. Can I get
who you gonna vote for?
So I'm gonna vote for Ghostbusters Spirits Unleashed, and there's no bias here whatsoever. No, it's so like that game. I love asymmetrical games. I think like that's the logical next step for me because as a huge Call of Duty player, like for years, I'm just falling off of it. The game is just it's a game, but I play almost all the asymmetrical games that come out. And this one just kind of flips it on its head. First of all, it's that thing that Splatoon also does, which is it's not really violent. Like you're not killing another player. You're not decapitating them, or they're not out of the match if they lose. Right? You can only down a Ghostbuster. The ghost can only slime Ghostbusters and scare people. Like it can't. Like it's not violent, which is great. It encourages like massive amounts of teamwork because like most games, like Splatoon is like this as well. You have to cover the thing to win, but you can still attack other players and they respawn. In most games, like when you're dead, some of those games you're just out. You just can't play anymore until the next round starts, right? Like in like certain modes, you're never out in this game. You have and like similar to Splatoon again, they have a lot of similarities. The match duration's incredibly short. It's like a long match is 10 minutes. I've ended matches in 4. So like it's a really interesting dynamic that it flips on its head. Like your first reaction is to shoot the enemy, but you don't want to do that here. You have to like stun it and then throw a trap down and then tether it, and the ghost can break the tether. And it's one of the only games I've seen proximity chat not be a absolute shit show. This is coming from someone who's played Dead by Daylight, an Evil Dead game, where like you're in the lobby with solo people you don't know, and people just start trashing on you for dying or playing bad. Everyone in this game, like, is having so much fun even when they lose. It's like it's such an incredible experience. Like to see that in a multiplayer game that's usually, especially asymmetrical, where it's usually toxic as hell. Like Dead by Daylight, people rage quit, they send angry messages. Same thing with Evil Dead the game. Even in Call of Duty, I've gotten rage messages, but like not in this game. And so far, and I've played a lot of it. I feel like it's a really cool formula. It's asymmetrical, so it's different. It encourages teamwork. It's non-violent. The art style is incredible. I haven't had any problems with like latency or connection issues. But I haven't played with Sam with it in Australia, so I don't know. Probably not as good as Splatoon. But I've been enjoying that game immensely. Just everything about it. It's so different than from what I've played in other asymmetrical games and other online games. And it has a Ghostbuster aesthetic, which is like we haven't had a real Ghostbusters game since 2009. You know, if you gotten some like mobile stuff and like one VR like experience, but like not like a full fledged game. And I've been like playing the hell out of that, and I think it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, no, it's a super fun game. Like it's really enjoyable, and you get hooked on it really quickly. And yeah, another example of a game where you get a team together and you can really have a good time with that. We were playing a bunch on big team building, and
Yeah.
man, it's no fun playing against Greg the Ghost.
Yeah, but it's funny because like you're on proximity chat, and like so when a ghost can possess objects, you can like possess chairs or refrigerators and stuff, and like you'd be like, he's upstairs in the refrigerator. Then you'll something say, no, he's not. Like, and it's the ghost just like saying, I'm not up there. Like, don't do that. And like it's a like I've never played a competitive multiplayer game where people are having fun even when they lose. You know what I mean? Like even a Marvel Snap, like I think yesterday we're like I know that person through their phone. You know what I mean? Like at the last match, I just know. I mean, I've had those moments where I was like, "Are you serious?" Like, and like, but haven't had that in that game yet. Where like I've thrown a controller or been angry, I'm just laughing all the time, and that's just I think that's such a rare quantity to have in a competitive, technically shooter. You know what I mean? Like it's really interesting.
Yeah, no, it's good. It's good, clean fun. It has honestly, it had a lot of the qualities that make Splatoon 3 so fun are also
Yeah,
very
yeah, they
present
both have a
in
lot of
that game for
similarities.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. Do we have any other nominations though? We
Just
have no
two?
other Donovan? I thought Donovan.
I wrote down Grounded. I think that's worth bringing up again. You just talk about multiplayer experiences. It's a good PvE multiplayer experience. The release this year.
It is.
Finally hitting 1.0. Just another game that again, to speak to Greg's point of a game that's just fun to play. It's not super competitive. I think working towards a common goal with other players are fun. I love the spin on the survival genre in it. And yeah.
It's
just wanted
not
to
super
sing that
violent
game's
either. Like you're
praises a
killing
little bit.
bugs, but it's not super violent either.
Yeah, I like that the big bads are ugly, disgusting bugs in this one. It's a pretty creative survival game.
I don't know about you, but when I walk around a corner and there's a wolf spider right there, things get very violent, very fast.
Killing the bugs reminds me
Yeah.
of Jet Force Gemini. I love
Oh
it.
god, yeah, throwback. Oh my god. Jet Force
Yeah.
Gemini.
Pulling apart
Going
the
way
ants and
back.
they go.
I mean, like as I get older, like I don't have kids, but I have like nieces and nephews, and like I find myself more concerned about overly violent games. Not violence, but just overly violent games. And Mortal Kombat has gotten cringy for me because it's so atomically corrected. like it's gotten to the point where like they're showing everything, and I'm like, oh god, that's like too. You know, it's
They're developers. A lot of them have PTSD from working on the fatalities, so it's
oh geez.
it's a non-trivial concern.
Yeah, so like yeah, it's just I mean, so I find myself whenever I see a multiplayer game that's whether it's Grounded or Splatoon or Ghostbusters that's not hyper violent, I'm like, this is great. Like I can play this with my 13-year-old nephew and I don't have concerns about him going to kill animals in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's a good point. Morgan, what did you want to say?
Oh, I was just gonna also nominate Splatoon. My son actually likes just watching me play Splatoon. I think it's really funny. Like I think it's like the color combination is very like bright and vivid. The matches are really quick and it's kind of like easy to follow, It's like you're inking things. But yeah, like multiplayer wise, like I am addicted to that game. Ever since it's come out, I play it like nightly, at least a couple matches, and I don't know, it's good. There are some like frustrating moments, but yeah, generally it's a pretty laid back, multiplayer.
Yeah, if I could scream down the mic, ink the bass, I would.
Oh my god.
Yes, 100%.
I will just a quick shout out to Elden Ring. I don't believe it'll be my nomination, but I've always enjoyed the multiplayer in the Souls games. But Amy and I, like I've said in another category, we play all of these together, and it's one of our favorite activities to do as a couple, and has been since 2009. So Elden Ring is a blast, especially now, just exploring the overworld for hours and hours. It's great.
Yes, David, Elden Ring, of course. Elden Ring.
Yeah. It is a multiplayer game, though. I had a couple of friends that played that game almost exclusively in multiplayer online. Like, they just kept jumping back and forth to help each other beat bosses pretty much from beginning to end.
That's fun.
Yeah. And invading people and ruining their day. That's also good.
Yeah,
I like that.
It's not good. It's not good at all.
Oh, Sam.
Oh, it's phenomenal. Hey.
Well, it's not getting a nomination. So I think that means it's time to put it to a vote, folks. What do y'all say? Man, I'm gonna start with. I need a moment to contemplate because I'm thought I was on Team Splatoon 3, but I also really enjoy Ghostbuster Spirits Unleashed quite a lot. So I'm gonna David, why don't we start with you?
I haven't played as much of it as the rest of the team, but I can't deny the addictive nature of Splatoon 3. It has a lot of the same qualities I love about Marvel Snap, in that the matches are so quick. I feel like I can get in one or like a dozen and then go back to whatever I was doing. So yeah, Splatoon 3.
All right. Denny Von Doom.
Yeah, I might have to go with the splat action. Definitely feels like it's just the overall good vibe with Splatoon 3. And I wasn't necessarily super into Splatoon when it first was a thing, but a bit more with Splatoon 2 and definitely more with Splatoon 3. So I feel like he gets my nomination.
Donovan.
I'll go with Ghostbusters.
He saw the movie. He saw the movie. I'm so happy he saw the
I
movie.
did.
Now
I did
he's
see Ghostbusters.
Did it help when you started playing the game? You're like, oh, that's one of the Ghostbuster people.
Yeah,
Recognize them
sure.
now.
We'll roll with that.
Yeah, sure. Thank you. All right, Greg. I think the sign above your head says it all. I don't even think you need to.
There's no bias here. What are you talking about? I am partial and reasonable, sir.
All right. You are partial. I think impartial is what you were.
Oh, impartial. There you go.
For.
That's my word of the day.
Freudian slip.
Oh, hey-o.
He's got to defend his client. Like,
Right.
you got to defend your nominee. You know.
Yeah.
Well, Greg, I'm ready to believe you. Whatever your vote is.
Ghostbusters. I think although Grounded and Splatoon are great games too. I just am having so much fun with that game with Ghostbusters. But they all share the same, like I said, the same themes of being nonviolent and friendly and kid friendly, and it's awesome to see that.
Hell yeah. TJ Denzer.
Yeah, the community behind Splatoon is part of what makes it so incredibly fun as both a like your soul experience and a combined experience. And like all the Shack staff like has their own personal interests, but I don't think any game gets us together and talking to each other like when a Splatfest comes. It's like, who you got? What's your choice? Did you choose the right one? Are you supporting Big Man? Are you using your mind and choosing water Pokemon because that's obviously the right pick? And I love those conversations inside and outside of the game. I love Splatfests.
Hell yeah. Morgan.
I'm gonna go with Splatoon 3.
Right. And Bill Lavoie.
Splatoon 3.
Sam Chandler.
Gotta be Splatoon 3. I never thought I would love it as much as I do. It's fantastic.
Yeah, I really like I'm going with Splatoon 3 as well. I really like the Ghostbusters game a lot. Like a whole heck of a lot. And I've been enjoying it, but I think like if like the options were to play one or the other, I would probably play Splatoon 3. I would hop on that quicker, I think. Just personally. But we also have some absentee ballots to count before we can call it a day. All right, let's see. We have Asif. Also voted for Splatoon 3.
It looks like they all did.
Thank you, Asif. Yeah, I think Ozzy also voted for Splatoon 3, and so did Steve T. And I think we all know what that means. Splatoon 3 is your best multiplayer game of 2022 here at Shack News.